first Deputy Foreign Minister of Ukraine stated that they withdrew from any negotiating processes with Russia, and immediately Kaja Kallas claims that Russia allegedly abandoned negotiations. When was it made exactly? What was the date of this decision? She called to increased funding for Ukraine in 2026, including at the expense of frozen Russian assets, and without even blinking, she called assistance to Ukraine a good deal compared to the price of victory of Russia. That is something atrocious. Only a monster can think in these terms. I've always believed, frankly speaking, that a woman in politics, especially since she has kids, understands the price of her words. She can project everything she says to her experience of being a mother. She can use these logic and she can put it into practice to project it to the life of her family and kids. And Kaja Kallas is a woman, and she said that that is a good deal compared to the price of Russian victory. Why is it a good deal? Is it a good deal in terms of the number of Ukrainians killed? And another surreal statement was made by another Russophobe, Andrius Kubilius, on the 17th of November at the Conference on Defense in Lithuania. He said that it is necessary to establish peace with the Ukrainian army that has combat experience, and to deploy them in Lithuania together with German brigade and rotating American troops.
He said that Ukrainian Nazis are to become, quotation, a guarantee of security before the threat of a Russian attack on Europe, end of quote. How do they imagine that? After peace, how will that happen? Because peace would mean that the sides take obligations not to carry out any hostilities. So after the sides agree on that, the Ukrainian army will relocate to another side of the European continent. And then you will just need to burn the torch. Because the most rabid Euro vultures, Zelensky signed an agreement with Macron for 10 years that includes the purchase of 100 Rafale multi-combat aircraft and 8 SMPT air defense systems. Zelensky qualified this document as historical. Maybe some aspect he is right, because this document will remain in history. It's not even a deal, it's a declaration of intention. Because it's about 20 billion euro purchase, and the Kyiv regime does not have the money for such a large purchase. And Paris does not have the equipment mentioned in this agreement. So one side does not have the money, the other side does not have the goods, but they have agreed on something for the future. So one of the largest scams in modern history is looming. Even when it is shipped, even if someday it is delivered, it will be a threat for our security. So on the 18th of November, Zelensky visited Spain, and Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez announced a new military aid package for Kyiv, totaling 615 million euros, almost a half of which will go towards the supply of air defense missiles and other defense equipment. Madrid also pledged to ensure security in Europe and strengthen defense industry and supporting Ukrainian military equipment manufacturers. So it has a hidden agenda. It's no secret that Zelensky sponsors are demanding increased mobilization, primarily by lowering the draft age. The Europeans, in replenishing the Ukrainian armed forces' losses, they are primarily concerned about preventing a new influx of refugees from Ukraine. In order to relieve themselves from the burden of those who were fortunate enough to leave Ukraine, of those people. So it's about tightening the conditions of obtaining asylum. They just spent time there on the territory of European countries. They were fed there like a pig, and then to slaughter them. It's just monstrous. They need them not like refugees, not even like their own citizens, not people who are temporarily on the territory of a foreign state, only as expendable material, as an instrument for implementing their own tasks. Now let us see what is happening in the Ukrainian armed forces. It's about demoralization and disillusionment. The Aftenposten media has published a report from this town of Izum, where an Azov fighter from the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces described the demotivating effect of the mass exodus of 18 to 22-year-old Ukrainians abroad. The exodus of soldiers. So he called on Norway and other European countries to return those people home, if not to send them to the battlefield, at least to work and live. Otherwise, who and what would they fight for? So that's the question to the one interviewed. Just the citizens of Ukraine ask this question of who and what do you fight for? For Zelensky to become richer and to launder that money for those who is supplying them for him from the West. Of course, in order to use Ukraine as an instrument to counter Russia, yes, certainly, but primarily, if we have a look at the Ukrainian territory, all this story, it has only one purpose. The purpose of getting richer for those who are an instrument in the hands of the West. An instrument to get back all those tranches, an instrument for geopolitical games. There are no other reasons. That's what the people